Hi friends, hope you are doing well. I'm Dr. Ganguly. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to discuss the H1B visa and how this visa provides you with the possibility of coming to the US and working for a US company. Now this visa has been explicitly created for people to come and work in the US for a period of 3 years, and then it can be renewed for 3 more years. So you get up to 6 years to work in the US if you get the H1B visa. Now let's look at what is the process of getting the H1B visa. The first thing is that you need to get a job in the US. This job has to be given by a US company, and therefore the first thing you would require is a letter from the employer that you have obtained a job, and they should list out the salary and other details about this job and the details about the company. Now, one of the requirements for the H1 visa is that the job should require specialized knowledge, and typically it would also require that you have a bachelor's degree. So essentially, in almost all cases, a bachelor's degree is required to get the H1B visa. Now, if you look at who are the people who typically get this visa, it's very often engineers, and most of these engineers tend to be working in software or information technology or any of the computer related domains. So these are the domains where most of the people get the H1 visa, but you can get the H1 visa in any discipline which involves specialized knowledge. So you don't have to be restricted to software. You can be working in any of the science and technology type of fields, and certainly that is specialized knowledge. Now, one of the reasons engineers get most of this visa is that there is a requirement that the employer should show that they could not find a US citizen or a permanent resident to do the job. So in this kind of situation, you can imagine that if you are just looking for somebody in many other disciplines, you will get a plethora of applications from different people who are US citizens and permanent residents. And so there would be no need to hire somebody from abroad in those cases. But as it happens, there is a shortage of people in the software domains, there is a shortage of people in the engineering and science domains, and therefore these people often tend to get the H1B visa. Now remember that the reason these domains get specialized is not because somebody is in computer science, but they may be looking for a specialized expert who knows how to use machine learning. They may want somebody who has 5 years of experience in processing data using machine learning and so on. So essentially it's the super specialized skills which are often advertised in the job that make it a requirement for getting somebody from abroad. Now, one of the things which will certainly help you here is that if you have a master's degree or a PhD degree or a postdoc, because the more qualified you are, the more specialized you are, and the easier the case to make to hire you. So essentially it's relatively easy for an employer to make the case for a PhD to join their company, because this person may be an expert in some narrow area. Maybe he's an expert in biotechnology or cybersecurity or chip design or compilers or deep learning. So essentially the case becomes slightly more difficult for master's degree people, and it's often quite difficult for bachelor's degree people, because again, bachelor's degree people are somebody who has a very basic level of knowledge. So most of the time bachelor's degree people need to put in some years of experience in their home country before they are able to land up a job which can get them the H1B visa. So essentially if you are somebody who has graduated in any of the engineering and science domains, if you work for 3 to 5 years in a company, you get a lot of experience. Maybe you learn about things such as relational databases, you know SQL, you know Python, you know some of the basic techniques in various fields, and then you can aspire to get the H1B visa. Now, like I mentioned, the initial period of stay is for 3 years, and then you can renew it for another 3 years. So it's a total of 6 years. You can bring your spouse and kids who are below the age of 21 on the H4 visa, and your spouse can also work in the US in the H4 visa after they get the EAD or the Employment Authorization Card. Now, there are several things you can do in the H1B visa which is very enjoyable. For example, I will list 5 of these. The number one thing is that you can travel. So once you get a job in the US, make it a point that you travel across the different cities and especially the different national parks in the US. So wherever you are, you will find that there are a plethora of nearby destinations which you can visit, and make it a point to enjoy these. There are also relatively cheap airfares available in airlines such as Southwest and Frontier, and you can take these planes to visit relatively distant places, and again you can take advantage of your stay in the US here. Now the second thing is you can save, and this is certainly true that you may be getting a very good salary in the US if you have come in one of the technology domains, specifically in information technology, and if you are staying in a relatively inexpensive apartment complex, then you will be able to save a lot of money and you will be able to take it back with you when you return to your home country. The number 3 issue is learn, and of course when you are working in the US company for 6 years, you are going to amass a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience about how to work in a highly developed country, specifically in the field of software and information technology. US is the most developed country in the world, and so you can gain a lot of valuable experience by working in the US company. And this is not only technical experience but management experience, because USA has been one of the frontier countries in terms of management research and also how they run the private sector companies. And you can pick up a lot of skills about how to manage teams, how to be part in teams, how to create requirement documents, how to write code in a different manner than which you were used to, and so on. And even the art of project management will be very valuable to learn when you are in US. Now beside this, you can of course take some courses in nearby colleges. For example, community colleges offer a lot of good courses. You can take any one of them if you want to. Your spouse can take courses in the H4 visa, and if you have kids, they can take advantage of the US education system and they can learn to speak English very well. And you can also learn to improve your English while you are in USA. Certainly your spouse can learn English. If you are in various parts of US, if you are already fluent in English, maybe you are coming from UK, then you can take the point of learning Spanish, because there are a lot of Spanish people or Spanish speaking people in the US nowadays. Now the fourth is, of course, you can enjoy yourself more, because the US is a very diverse country. It has a lot of good scenery, it has got a lot of good restaurants, and it's got a lot of places where you can visit. For example, you can visit Las Vegas, New York, Washington DC, Niagara Falls, San Francisco, Florida, Universal Studios, Disneyland, and so on. So make it a point to have a bucket list of at least 10 places which you want to visit during your H1B stay in the US. Finally, the fifth issue is culture, and this is something which is very important. When you are in your home country, you are not culturally diverse. When you come to US, you will be exposed to people from around the world. So when I had come to US for the first time, it's the first place where I met Koreans, Chinese, Russians, French, Germans, and so many different type of people beside the US people, because the US is a veritable melting pot of different people from around the world. And this will certainly broaden your mindset. You are going to figure out various aspects of different cultures. You are going to realize that people are different, they are from different cultures, but they share some similar human values. And these things are going to help you a lot in becoming a better manager and a better leader in the future, because very often nowadays in large companies you have to manage multinational or multicultural teams, and you will learn a lot in the US in terms of how to do this. So this is certainly very useful possibility for you to get the H1B visa and come to US for 6 years. Now I should mention that the H1B is a dual intent visa, and therefore you can apply for a green card, but there are issues that if you apply for a green card and you come from certain countries, you may end up in a very long wait. So that is a H1B trap that is only applicable to people who are from certain countries such as India, China, Philippines and Mexico, and not for people from different countries beside that. So if you are not from these 4 countries, then you can easily go from the H1B visa to the green card. Now before I end, I should mention that I'm not an immigration lawyer. Whatever I'm saying is based on my personal experience and knowledge in the public domain, and you should always consult an immigration lawyer before making any important decision about your life. So with that, I will end the video here. If you have any personal experience about the H1B visa, please share it in the comment section below, because that's always very useful for the readers. And please remember to like the video and also to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much, and I will see you in a video sometime soon. See you then.